getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to like you, getting to hope you like me.
You know, actually, what's really fun, I think, about musical theater in general is most of the women are pretty strong in most of the canons of speaking up for themselves and making changes and being progressive in that way. But she is certainly one of the most progressive women I've ever played. You know, the way she's able to come into this country and make these great changes, and with no fear and well, some fear, but she doesn't show it because she whistles through it all. But with such courage that I can't even imagine of coming into such a strange country without the internet to know, you know, pictures of what it would be like. It's all brand new, and to meet these people and to make the changes she does. I think these songs are so extraordinary. I think it's my favorite of the R&H scores. And even the songs I don't sing, the I Have Dreamed and We Kiss in the Shadow, I think are my favorite ballads. So just getting to hear them is going to be amazing. But the orchestrations are so moving to me. Hello, Young Lovers. If you listen to the undercurrent of a little bit the grief and a little sadness of having lost her husband while she's singing this gorgeous kind of optimistic melody on top, there's always something under all of these songs, which is so moving. And for me, it's getting to play both of those at the same time that is my favorite part.
Hello, young lovers, whoever you are, I hope your troubles are few. All my good wishes go with you tonight. I've been in love like you.
I think the king is an extraordinary character to play because there is such richness in the way he is written on the page. You know, I've done it twice before, and both times it was very, very different. And I think that's not because of anything I brought to it. It's just because you keep discovering new things when something is this well written. King and I is a classic. And it's a classic because of what's inside it. It's a deeply, deeply human story. The king is a deeply, deeply human man. He's not just a great role to play. And, you know, if you've ever read a great book again after many years, if you've ever seen a great movie again after many years, if you've ever played another part like this after many years, it changes in the way you've changed, because that's what great parts do. That's what great literature does. That's what great theater and great movies do. They grow and change and become more rich with you.
There are times I almost think I am not sure of what I absolutely know. Very often find confusion in conclusion I concluded long ago. In my head are many facts that as a student I have studied to procure. In my head are many facts of which I wish I was more certain. I was sure. Is a puzzlement.
Well, first of all, I've heard so many things about Music Theater of Wichita, and I've had many friends come here and only say wonderful things. So the opportunity to come here was just great and an honor, and especially when you told me that Tom would be playing the king. As you may know, we go a long way back. I remember before I even wanted to be an actor, I saw him on stage, and I was mesmerized. Great thing about knowing your king and having that respect and honor for him, the genuine love is there in watching him. The arc of the Kralahome, of which the role I am playing, he only has a few opportunities to really show where he goes, but I think they're great opportunities in the sense of his love for the king and love for his country, and wanting what the king wants and helping him forward that goal and striving for that. There's a great line in which Lady Tiang, his head wife, says he must not know its advice. So I, as a Kralahome, am there to guide him without actually having him realize he's being guided.
She is the great woman behind the great man. And I think a lot of these things are her idea, but she it must not sound like advice, as Alan Nicolaholm said earlier. You know, she gently suggested, perhaps since the British and France are having their eye upon Siam, that you might want to put a modern foot forward, so that that we can meet them on equal footing, you know, rather than be conquered. Mrs. Anna is the focus behind how we can all become civilized and modern and knowledgeable. And if she goes, we're going to be taken over. I have a great fear of that. The British are going to come and demand trade and annex us. So I must convince Mrs. Anna to stay. Well, in that song, Something Wonderful, I explained to her who he really is and why I love him and why he's worth it, even though he's a pain in the behind.
Say what you would have him say, but now and then you see something wonderful.
I think when we were talking to, working on these roles with Mark, something that he said that really stuck with both of us is, I think he said to not be precious with this. It's Rodgers and Hammerstein. It's a classic. And I feel like in past productions, especially earlier on, they're kind of putting a lot of playing the pretty a lot and playing how beautiful the music is and living in that. And I know Mark wanted us to really play the passion and play the hope and the underlying emotions a lot more than just how pretty the music is.
And it's still a love story, a very passionate love story, and I think that's always going to be universal regardless of when it took place, or when it was originally written.
To kiss in the sunlight and say to the sky, behold and believe what you see.
I'm trained as a ballet dancer and have been doing it for many, many years. And the thing I find challenging about this role and doing this kind of dancing is we're trained as ballet dancers to be very generous with our movement, big, broad, and what is required for this role is to rein that all in. So to give the same amount of emotion, to give the, you know, all those same qualities, but with less physicality. Not that it isn't physical, but it's physical in a different way. It's very subtle. The challenge is, you know, the fingers are a huge challenge for us, you know, bending your fingers backwards, and the positions of the fingers are very precise. So stylistically, that's always challenging, you know, and having them in the right place at the right time. So just smaller, but the same sort of impact. That's really a big deal for us.
What's challenging for me are all the parallel positions, because, you know, in ballet, everything's turned out, so everything here, we're in parallel, but it feels even more parallel to me when I'm doing it, so it's very different. Yeah. I also dance in a Bollywood troupe, but when we do a lotus hand, our thumb is back, but here in our Thai dance, our thumb is forward, so I have to retrain my thumbs. So, yeah, and with the precision and all that, it's challenging, but it's fun.
Well, Anna, my mother, and the king, his father, are kind of having that conflict. They're just so different. And so we sort of have that same thing. There's this scene when Anna and the king are arguing with each other, and then we just start doing the same thing, kind of naturally.
Like, we take footsteps in our father and our mother.
I think we are very alike to them, and you can see that in a lot of things that we do.
It's really exciting, like, everybody, like, puts you in there, and, like, they're really nice, and it's like, when you get on that stage, it's all like, ooh.
Well, it's really exciting that we put it together in just 1 week, and the rehearsals are a lot more than I do in any other show, but it's really fun. I mean, I love rehearsals everywhere.